bop boom, zippity bap bam. Hey everybody, welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pinnings, also known as Cracked Palantir, and I will be your host and game master for this episode 146 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play the beautiful and talented Paladin Brise. Max, say hello to the lovely people.
Hey everybody, I hope you're doing all right today. Hope everyone's chilling out and taking care of themselves. And welcome to our stream. We can make it a little bit better.
That's right. We
Possibly.
hope so.
Or a little worse.
Or a little worse. This is sort of a creepy situation we've got going on for Brise. Max, why don't you fill us in on why it's so creepy? What's going on? What's going on with Brise?
Yeah, so we had been exploring the catacombs beneath the city of Pesidarius, and many strange creatures I'd never encountered before. I don't really know how to deal with. We had come across these two beings who ended up putting me into some sort of slumber. And as they did that, they sucked away at my soul. So for who knows how long, I was having my soul kind of damaged or drained by these creatures. And I did overcome them and wake up, but the damage has had some interesting effects. So feel very very lethargic. Brise is not like her usual self. She's kind of having disassociations where she'll just wake up and realize that hours have passed, right? And she hasn't been in control of her body. So a lot of strange, a lot of kind of disturbing things happening with her kind of mental state. But I have been through this kind of process before. Recognize this is just kind of the normal healing from from encountering a demon like this. So Brise is hopefully going to be a little better today. We had a long night of singing and kind of joy and laughter with a bunch of drunk sailors on one of the port inns at Pesidarius. And we might go visit the temples today and seek any guidance as well. Yeah, I was afraid to visit the temples yesterday. I kind of felt this reluctance this fear that, almost as if whatever evil force is clinging to me is also kind of making me afraid of the godly forces, right? So, yeah, we'll see where it takes us today.
Yeah, so you're at a dockside inn and tavern, and you sort of spent the night there carousing and just sort of being among people and so on. From your past experiences and past advice you've had for these situations, you've heard that it's the company of people and being among firelight, around firelight and just enjoying glad, happy times that helps restore the soul.
I forgot to mention last time, but there's I came across this really good German word for this. It's Gemütlichkeit. It's literally just means like warmth, friendliness, and good cheer. And it's like, I remember we were talking about that. I'm like, oh, that's what I need. I need some Gemütlichkeit.
There's a Danish term called I think it's a hygge, and it means just come over and bring alcohol, and we're just going to have a really good time.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure how to use it in a sentence, but that's the sense of it.
Like how do you say it?
Hygge.
Hygge? I hygge every night.
That's right. I went to a hygge lounge
all day.
And, so yeah, I don't know if you say, "Hey, do you want to hygge?" or
shall we have a hygge? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to make use of it, but I only just know the sense of it. So yeah, you've certainly had some very strange experiences with this you can tell you're not yourself.
Mhm.
You find yourself stalking people. You find yourself shying away from bright lights and
Oh, I
pulling
can
yourself
see
back.
better in the dark too. I feel
Yeah,
that.
you can
Yeah.
see better in the dark, which is a little alarming.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, it's had several consequences that are a little um, a little creepy. Hello, Obi-Wan. We feel your pain. We do. Um, so um, yeah.
So we're gonna do our 3 rolls
Yes.
and then,
Let's do it.
see how well I sleep.
Let's do it. Roll it up.
Be sleepwalking in the night. All right, so it's a 50,
Okay.
a 39,
Okay.
and a 17.
Okay. You wake up early morning, not nearly enough sleep. Um, the Tell the morning light is not your friend anymore.
Hmm.
Um, you find yourself really shying away from it. Um, it's just really painful on the eyes. Um, you feel a little under the weather. You wish you could get more sleep because you've probably only had half a night's sleep.
Yeah, I went to sleep probably like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll try to check on Azrael real quick and make sure he's okay, and then we can go back to sleep. It's more shut eye.
Azrael is good. Approaches at your reach, which is Azrael is your cat familiar for those of us who, for anyone who needs a reminder.
Right.
Um, um, you can tell Azrael wants to get out and about. You can feel it sort of pulling you toward outside. Mentally, you can feel it kind of, that's where it wants to go.
If I have a window, I could probably just let him go, right?
Most of the windows are going to be barred and sealed, on the ground floor,
Yeah.
um, so that you're not visited by any untoward guests. Um, you could go outside and let him out, let him hunt rats and what have you. That's up to you.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like I should, take care of him. So he is my familiar. So yeah, we'll go outside, let him hunt for a little while, and we'll see how I feel. Need to go back upstairs and sleep some more. We're just taking it easy, letting the cat out. Having
That's right. Make some coffee, read a book.
Brise is taking some personal time off.
That's right. Do you have any demon lore books anymore?
I do. I have one that describes it's dark encounters. Right, it describes just the various encounters with demons.
Roll for me.
38.
Okay. Um, you do find yourself thinking about, um, could you explore that book and get answers to some of the questions you have, you know, by making contact, you know, with some of these powerful beings. Um, it's not a thought that's occurred to you before, but if there were mention of rituals in some of those uh, um, and some of those stories, then you could, for instance, travel instantly to any of the locations that have your cult's workings, your cult sites. You might be able to get a cure for what ails you. But this is a resource you have on you.
Like as in seeking the power from these beings.
Right.
How does Brise feel about that in the context of Adabir, the old wizard who thought the same thing and then perished at their hands? Partly because of me.
He got, he was openly betrayed. He would obviously have to take precautions. And there may be nothing in the books that go that way, but it may not hurt to look, you think.
To read the demon book? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Why not?
It's
I'm trying new things.
You're trying new things. Stalking couples at night. Yeah, the last couple of streams have been really interesting and psychological and good times.
Yeah, it's been definitely a different tone. I like it. Okay. So we'll take Azrael outside. If I'm hungry, we'll go get some breakfast downstairs in the commons.
2 copper for a meal.
Okay.
You get a lot of greetings and nods from people you recognize as fellow carousers and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You remember dancing with that guy. You remember getting smacked on the ass by that guy. But it's it was a good night. And you sit and eat your meal, and thoughts of cracking open dark encounters sort of fade from your mind.
Okay.
Did you meet a cleric here from that temple, from the nearby temple?
No, the only real interaction I've had with the temples here is that one priest who I requested to teleport me to that mountain midpoint between Convergence and Pesidarius, and he was insulted. So
Right.
Not a great start.
Right.
In getting to know the clergy of Pesidarius, but
so some of your fellow carousers, mostly sailors and merchants and so on, they sort of come and join you at your table.
mm-hmm.
They're finishing a pipe after finishing a meal, and you guys are just going over the events of the evening and laughing about them and so on. And it's an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
And so you spend a good couple hours down there. Azrael has had a very successful hunt. And you bring him back in. You're fatigued, but you're eager to start your day.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
So we'll see how I feel about going to the temples now.
Yeah, no, I think you're
Yeah.
I think you're fine to do that.
Okay. So we'll make our way to I was going to visit the smaller temple because I found it less intimidating, right? But I
Right.
think I'd rather go to the Temple of Lewin because that's more of a prominent, right, god.
Not more prominent, but it does have a larger building here. At least the nearest building you know of is larger than this dockside temple.
Well, I guess I could ask: is there a Temple of Oxir in Pesidarius? I might feel the most at home there.
There is a major temple. There's disagreement about how to get to it, though.
Of course, there is.
Um, Someone mentions that Almar has an even bigger one, if that's of any help.
It is not, but thank you.
Um,
I tell him, in which city am I in right now?
That's right. It was not at all clear a few days ago where the hell I was. And what would you like to do?
You mean, I guess, so I don't really get clear directions to the temple then?
Right.
Okay. I'll just go out. We'll go back up to my room and dress in. So I actually need to remember I have all my stuff should be at the Brandywine. So all I have with me right now are my town clothes and my daggers at my belt. So let's go toward the Brandywine and we'll just see if we can get some directions to the Temple of Oxir on the streets.
If you go to the nearby temple, the Temple of Jalret, then
they would probably know.
They would know. They would have interactions,
yeah,
and things like that with them all the time.
All right, we'll do that then.
Yeah, it's not far away at all. After some trouble going through novices who don't know what the hell they're talking about, I rolled a 6, a 2, a 1. They get someone who knows what they're talking about.
It's like the same exact sailors from the inn also are here at the
They all have mustache. And what? No, we've not met. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous.
Nobody knows where this temple is.
So the you get directions. It's pretty far. It's on the far side of town, or it's on the far side of downtown, the center part of the city. They tell you to keep your wits about you if you're going to be walking such a long way in the city.
Could just maybe if there's a coach I could sit in as well.
I tell you, coaches are few and far between here. But as you head toward this town center, you should be able to find somebody who will pick you up.
Okay.
Anything in your hands? So you're just gonna keep your hands free and start walking.
Yeah, we'll just walk on. Suddenly find myself carrying the book on demonology. Like, oh, where did that come from? Oh my gosh!
I shouldn't be walking and reading, but this is really fascinating. What am I doing in this dark alley with candles? This is not good.
What am I doing? Saying these words? No, just starts like saying Latin.
Right, chanting. Where did I get this black cowl from? Why have I sacrificed Azrael? I just, things are different. You do find a coach, 4 copper. So yeah, it is quite a long ride. Along the way, you pass a storefront that has a hanging sign that depicts some form of whiskered merfolk. They have sort of a catfish-like face, very broad mouth, with very long whiskers that drape about, and it's holding a trident. It's a logo of some sort, but you have read about these creatures or had them described to you at some point. You're certain of it. And so it just strikes you as really curious that someone has that as their symbol. Still later, another point of interest. You glimpse a hunched and cowled figure in an alley while you're waiting on traffic to pass in front of you. It's no question that it's one of Gelkakek's people.
Oh, wow.
The tall and mysterious Awan people. He's hunched to hide his tremendous height.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking to a group of 3 dwarves. Their genders are unclear in the dark, even with your benefit of your improved eyesight. They appear to be exchanging. It seems to be a sale of some sort. Items and gold are exchanging hands. The traffic clears and you move on.
Do you recognize any of the items they're exchanging?
No, too difficult to see. And of course, the A1's hands are enormous, and so
Yeah,
you can just conceal an item without even meaning to. Just engulfs it,
Interesting.
So you do finally wind up at the Temple of Oxir. There it is. It's here. It's dual depicted, meaning it's the traditional goblin male on one side of the temple, but the other side it's a human. It shows the goblin version is shown holding a vial as well as his enormous battle axe. The vial represents Oxyr's Scourge, which is basically a poison that he stole from his sister's potion vault. And it's believed to be the origin of the goblin pox.
Oh, wow.
So Valbrung is his sister, goblin female. She's the goddess of moon, healers, and poisons. And so it's believed that Oxyr stole it from here and then used it in the middle of the war.
Others believed it came from the market, actually.
Yes. Monkeys in Africa. There's all kind of stories about it.
Crazy, all these crazy.
That's right.
To come up with those goblins. Yeah, so we'll ask him to drop me off at the front, and I will see if I can find any cleric willing to offer me some. I guess what I'm really looking for is just some, a blessing, really.
Well, I mean, guidance is what you need, and to find out what your next step should be. So yeah, you walk in. It's the largest temple of Oxyr you've been to. They're not particularly busy, so you get, approached pretty well immediately by an initiate. Sort of checking people in and guiding them to where they need to be.
Because Oxyr is a god of war, right? So his temple is pretty lively.
Lots of just combat going on constantly.
Sermons? No, we're just a free-for-all.
And there's got to be game masters who do that, right? Well, it's the god of war, so they're always fighting. No, that's not how that works. That's what they represent, but that's not what they're all about,
Right. That's not how you show your devotion to them.
Right. It's the way they understand the world, that if you see a war, you're like, oh, well, that's Oxyr's doing, or Oxyr's had some sort of role in that. Not that you yourself carry out war constantly.
Oxyr must love this.
Exactly. I punched a fellow initiate. I bet I'm earning points just every second of every day.
God. If that was the case, they'd go through initiates pretty quick.
Exactly.
There'd be a new lead of the temple every 2 weeks.
It's like looking at a hockey team. There's a lot of missing teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to a fight and an Oxyr worship session broke out. Yeah, it's a elven woman, young. Asks how the temple can be of service. You tell them Nunya.
Yeah. I tell them I've had a dark encounter recently, and I was wondering if I could speak of it, with someone who could give me some advice on how to move forward. I'm feeling ill effects since then.
Not quite myself. Definitely feel like somebody else. She looks at you in concern, walks with you, guides you to through a series of halls. But before you arrive anywhere, they encounter the person apparently she was looking for. Halfling female of some age. She introduces herself as Daildra, Dayldra.
Daildra.
That's it. He has no teeth.
Oh my goodness.
And she leads you back to her office, and you can't help but be reminded of both the temples you have served in, but also the temple you explored. Here's a up and running one, and they take visitors and they deal with problems and
you're around the corner, like there better be no crystal lizards.
No, you're like, I am done with that, and no tornadoes, thank you. Keep in mind, you're probably going to need to make a donation of some sort as thanks to Oxir. I know what you people love.
Right here, as hard as you can.
This little halfling, this old woman halfling, is like, you get one on the chin. If you can't knock me down, then it's gonna go bad for you. If you knock me down, it's on the house. But otherwise, so.
Oh man.
So, is there anything you want to hold back in your explanation?
I might as well say that I didn't go into the catacombs, right? I just encountered this creature exploring some ruins. But other than that, I'll describe the whole experience with the demons.
She is very impressed by your story. Daildra says to you that they are called dream bores. They seem to literally drill into the soul. You are incredibly lucky to be walking. It takes tremendous insight to realize that you're experiencing a dream and that the dream is bad. Creatures are extraordinarily rare. No weapon or spell will harm them except for channeling. It is possible to capture them with magic, to detain them, and therefore to escape. but weapons and offensive magic just pass through them, apparently without affecting them.
Wow. I ask why there were. Do they typically come in pairs or groups? There were two of them I encountered.
Singletons are the rule. It's very rare to find more than one at a time.
Lucky me.
Yeah. She asks you lots of questions about your behavior and about are you feeling changes and so on.
Well, it all started a couple days ago.
Roll for me.
Yeah. 41.
Yeah, you find yourself hesitant to answer everything.
Right.
You
Truthfully.
suddenly develop a suspicion about her, a mistrust. Roll to answer truthfully.
Okay. 94.
Nice. So haltingly, you tell her everything.
I did sing very badly. It wasn't good at all.
But it was YMCA. I was doing my best.
I went to karaoke recently and went with Noelle and both had a few drinks, and then I went up and sang my song, and then it came back down, and she's like, "We're taking dancing classes. We're not embarrassing us again."
That is hilarious.
I'm like, was that bad? Was it?
That's hilarious. He's like, I knew you were white, but dear God, man, you've got a bad case of it. You've got a bad case of it.
Oh.
She tells you that, to be frank, you're very near losing yourself to a darkness that has always been inside you. This is not an external influence affecting you as much as it is the checks and balances on who you were have been removed. It tells you that prayer is going to be very important to you. She tells you that the company of joyous people is going to be very important to you. And there are limited magical means they can use to help you. But it could be some weeks before we know whether or not you are again yourself.
If I am myself. I ask her, how can I become aware, right, of when I'm, not myself, of these strange possessions of my body? Or how can I prevent them?
You are not being possessed any more than you're possessed now. It's simply that you won't let you see the other side of yourself and who it is you've become.
I'm not still in the dream, am I?
Let's take a look at the clock tower just to revisit a few of these points.
Oh, no. Okay.
You're more jealous of a person than you realized.
Hmm.
You find yourself following people, especially other women.
Hmm.
And like that really strikes a chord with you. You're like, yeah, that couple that you followed at night, you were really fixated on the woman,
Right.
because you so greatly admired her hair, and it made you hate her.
Hmm.
You are a river that has burst its dam.
Hmm.
And now where those waters run is the great question. But we'll do what we can. And hopefully it'll make it easier for you to recognize these impulses coming on. And you can check them, correct yourself before you find yourself doing something foolish.
Hmm.
And sure enough, like you just feel yourself get so angry at being called foolish.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I really am not myself. Or maybe this is who I am, but I'm oversensitive to everything.
Right. By pushing that side away, it's like more prominent now.
Right. She said, consider also that you only act at night,
Hmm.
where your shame is more easily hidden. Had you attacked that couple, you could at least hide the fact because it wasn't broad daylight.
Right.
You're not hiding it from the authorities, you're hiding it from yourself. So we will do what we can do. And she rises and she says, just remain here. I'm going to fetch a companion and we'll perform a rite on you that should make it easier for you to control these impulses.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I should be aware that I do need to be back at the keep tomorrow.
Okay.
So I guess so it's the second. So we'll go through this rite, and I'll probably teleport back to the keep tonight.
Right. After you get your gear and everything.
Yeah.
Returns after a bit of a while. elven male, quite handsome, very stately. Introductions are made. You're told to sit quietly. Told to think back on memories of loved ones, warm times, joyous times, and they begin chanting. They both begin to glow. The glow travels down their hands to you. The glow surrounds you. And you immediately feel more like yourself.
Hmm.
It took a bit out of them both. You can tell, you can recognize the signs of fatigue on them.
Mm-hmm.
Deirdre thanks her companion. He wishes you luck and leaves. She resumes her seat at the desk. And she tells you that, unfortunately, the ritual can only be cast once. That no matter how many other times it's cast, that's as much good as you'll ever get from it.
Really? Hmm.
Well, so we take a break here,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back and work on getting you to the keep. So, gang, we're going to go stretch our legs and refill our drinks. I hope you take the opportunity to do the same, and we will be back in just a few moments.
Catch you later or soon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll get Max back here. There
Hey,
he is. I told you he wouldn't run.
I tried. All the doors are bolted shut though.
From the inside, but you still can figure it out. So it's, it's unfortunate.
Welcome, Quinn. You caught us a good time coming
Yeah.
right back into the action.
Um. So yeah. So if you
Action
are just
action might be a stretch.
That's true.
The event stream.
So yeah. So if you're just joining us, Brise had sort of a ritual intervention by some clerics at the Temple of Oxir, hoping to restore some of the damage done by the luminescent tornadoes that attacked her in the catacombs of Pasidarius. And she does feel more like herself, and she's learned that um, basically her recent behavior, stalking people, shying away from the light, and so on, is really just a part of who she is. But the damage done by these creatures, called, we learned, dream borers, they take away the safeguards that sort of are the better angels of our nature, and allow things like one's jealousy, hatred, pettiness, and so on just to flourish. Um, so, um, with that done, now sitting in the cleric's office, do you want to offer them something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Brees is pretty generous, and this is one of the most dangerous, unique situations I've been in. So I feel like I would offer her a mithril.
Okay.
Yeah. Just thank you so much. This going to help me move forward with this issue I've been dealing with.
She says, stay warm, stay near sources of joy. Um, oh, Quinn, you naughty lad. Um, so she says, if it gets too much further, you may find yourself having the hardest struggle of your life to become the person you want to be.
My 18-year-old life.
That's right. So take this battle very seriously.
Okay.
So
Donation. So the one line from The Simpsons, I always think it's really good. It's Homer talking to Bart. He's like, Bart's like, this is the worst day of my life. And Homer's like, yet.
yes, I remember that. The other great one is, well, son, you did your best, and you tried your best, and you failed. The lesson is never try. So dark. Uh, so out you go, escorted by an initiate.
Okay.
There are coaches aplenty here if you want to take one back to the Brandy Fire.
Yeah. Might as well. I guess what time of day is it? Been a few hours in the morning. I guess it's probably the early afternoon.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. It was quite a drive across town.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so let's say early afternoon.
Leave the temple.
3 copper for this coach. make it back without incident. Wave the driver off. What would you like to do?
Yeah, well, so let's take care of two things. Let's try to attune to my Sorcerer's Spear and also cast, hopefully, the final casting of my Bond Familiar spell.
All right, let's start with your attunement.
Okay. Attunement to my Sorcerer's Spear is an 86.
There you go. That is done.
Okay, so now I have, it was all three now are attuned. So 10 points of spell store. Increase in spells increased range by 10% and duration increased by 10%. Nice. So the temper that's a spell up to 10 power points, or multiple spells up to 10 power points.
Yeah,
right?
they add. Yeah, they can't. Their total levels can't add up to more than 10.
Okay. Do I have to cast the spells into?
Yes, but the great thing about that is, of course, you can cast them in the safety of, an inn or whatever, and then
For no pressure, yeah.
yeah, and then release them in high pressure situations without any prep.
All right. Well, I'm going to note down that I need to store some spells there, but we can do that later. Store spells into my Sorcerer's Spear. Okay, and then we'll try Bond Familiars. That is a is that 4th level? Yeah, Crate Bond, 4th level spell on Azrael. Use it from the tome. I'll concentrate, cast it very carefully.
Yeah.
And that's a 13.
Well,
very close.
not a great casting. Cost you 10 exhaustion.
Okay.
You probably should just cast it again.
Okay. Now I'm at 42 exhaustion out of 100, so maybe I shouldn't do that.
This is true.
I'm a little tired. Well, actually, yeah, okay, so I woke up with 52. Is what we rolled. And I guess from spending time throughout the day, did it stay at 52 or did it move at all?
No, I mean, technically it would be lower, but we're just not going to do that kind of fiddle.
Okay. I know because I was like talking, and
Right.
but okay. So yeah, then we'll just we'll try that again maybe tonight after I've had some rest. Right now we should try to get back to the keep.
That's true. That casting is more important than.
Yeah, and that's actually 3 castings.
Oh man, you are going to be beat.
Because I need to teleport. What's the convergence? Oh wait, hold on. I need to remember this. So to get from convergence to Mirgral's Keep, is that 1 teleport or is that also 2 teleports? Is that to like the Vetch and then to Mirgral's Keep?
So you're going to go, I think you go from, right, you get to convergence and then it's 2, right, to the Vetch and then over to Mirgral's Keep because you don't have a halfway point.
So it's straight from convergence to Mirgral's Keep.
No, you teleport from convergence to the Vetch to Mirgral's Keep.
Kevin, I didn't think about this. This is 4 teleports.
But you can nap in between, have meals in between, and they restore.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I guess it was. I did go from convergence. So it was Fraldrum who teleported me to Pesidarius first. And then I got that midway point between here and convergence. Is there no midway point between here and Balabry, though? I guess Balabry is too small of a town.
Well, of course there is. Linearly, there are halfway points. The problem is you have to have visited them before and know that they work.
And that's what I'm wondering is, I guess we must have discounted that possibility for whatever reason. We decided to do it to convergence.
Well, because you know that you can teleport to the Vetch. And so you've been using that just to get a convergence.
Yeah. Okay, I guess it's possible I could also try from the mountain, Mount Curloof, the midway point, to the Vetch, then to Ballabry to cut out one teleport, but that might be risky.
Right.
I guess my adder would be restored because it was a full day. So at least I have 3 spots for my adder.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the Brandy Fire and we'll try to teleport to Convergence, and then
So Curloof first,
right. So to Mount Curloof, midway point, then to Convergence,
and then you could eat a meal and rest, whatever, and that'll restore you. And of course, if you want, you can always teleport directly to where the Philistine are building that structure.
Why not? Yeah,
it should be perfectly.
That should be exciting. Again, we're trying new things. And I thought teleporting is supposed to make travel more convenient. I'm taking like layovers.
You are basically.
Okay. Let me just double check my teleport locations too. Right, so I've got the did I not write it down? Hold on one second. I just need to find where on Mount Curloof it was. It was like
This is how perfectly good role players wind up forgetting all of their teleport locations.
everything.
Sucked out of you by a dream boar.
That would be crazy if you went into my notes and like removed sections. Like, well, yeah, your memories.
It is one of the artificialities of course, a note system is your memory is in that sense perfect.
Right. And it's hard to not role play that.
Right.
Not let that affect your role playing. Let's see. Make my way toward the mountain, come upon a satchel. Okay. I mark a spot on the mountain using branches. That's what I thought. Okay. So I'm going to note that down. Toward the top of the mountain, there's a spot marked with branches. So I will return to the Brandy Fire, gather my things, and then we'll try to teleport there. Let's gather my things. We'll go into an alleyway just so there's I don't end up drawing the attention of everyone inside the inn.
Roll for me.
36.
Okay. It is, you realize, I mean, it's still risky, but if the sorcerer's spear increases the range of your teleport by 10%, maybe you could reach the Vetch. But
just from here?
Huh?
You mean teleport here?
From Curloof.
From Curloof, okay.
Yeah.
Because that brings me south enough to right. So for all the viewers, right, Pesidarius is here. The Vetch is like kind of here.
Convergence. Pesidarius is much further south. Pesidarius is south and on the coast.
Oh, I thought it was to the north. Okay.
And then Convergence is to the north and inland.
Mm-hmm.
The Vetch is just above that.
Mm.
And then you have to go east to go to Ballabry and Mount and Lady Miagraw's Keep.
Right. Lady Miagraw's Mountain.
Right.
Okay. I believe if I try to teleport and it doesn't, the spell fails, I do still lose the exhaustion, right?
Yes.
Which is the risk. But okay, no, it's worth trying. Let me note this down. This was on. What day was this? Oh my goodness, the 26th. Okay. So we gather my things from the brandy fire, and
Mount Curloof is first up on that
yes.
slope.
And like I said, we'll just kind of go into an alleyway just in case something goes wrong.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, roll above a 5.
Channeling Adder, it's an 87.
Beautiful. Roll to aim.
Aim is an 82.
Beautiful. 9 exhaustion.
Okay. 33 out of 100.
So definitely tired. A little out of it, but you still feel okay, safe to cast. Now, are you going to aim for the vetch? You're going to aim for a spotting convergence.
Yeah, we could aim for the vetch because it's going to be in the valley of the Trinidas anyway.
Right.
So here, there, I'll at least be around allies, even if I am pretty exhausted. I guess. Okay. The problem though is if I can't teleport there, now I'm at 20 exhaustion. I have to get to convergence.
But then you'll just have to basically, put out a bedroll, eat a meal, just take some time and rest. And
Here at the mountain.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Although I remember when I came here, one of the adventurers was worried about trolls around here. So.
Yeah, that may require some careful planning, but it's not impossible to do.
All right. Let's try it. Let's try to teleport to the bench.
Okay.
Using my additional bonus granted from my.
Yes. So roll above a 7.
And 36.
All right. And roll to aim.
94.
Great. Into the valley of the Trinidas.
Fantastic.
You lose 12 exhaustion.
Ooh, okay. Let me note that down. Into the
The Trinidas, of course, take immediate note of your presence. And, a group of them come to greet you. Daughter of man, their chorus-like voice says to you. What word do you bring?
I'm like, one sec. Woo, woo. I tell them I'm actually just on seeking a little bit of rest before I can return to my own abode in the Goblin Nation. Actually, I should probably look up what was the last time I met with the Trinidas, though, and because that was a while ago,
right?
In real world time. What did we last discuss? That was in June. Wow. Oh no, actually before then. That was in May. Okay, this is awkward. There's actually, I think, a lot that's happened since I've spoken with the Trinitas. Let me just double check. No, I think I might have gotten some notes wrong here. How did I spell? So I think the last thing we had known that the Philistine were building the fortress there. And that we had done a excursion into the valley to try to save some of the refugees.
Yes.
We were successful to a very small extent.
Yeah.
But most of the valley fell. Most of the people became undead servants to the Philistine.
Right.
They're now working to build this fortress. So yeah, I tell the Trinidas, that's what I know, but not much more besides then.
They were watching, weren't they watching to see if various ruins were being raided?
Yes, they were monitoring the construction of the tower or of the fortress, and also checking to see if the Philistine were visiting some of their old ruins to find old texts or spells for Chelbrick.
I tell you, there'd been no activity in the ancient ruins of the Philistines' former homes when they were living. They do not yet seem interested in that. The outer wall of the fortification they're building seems now to be done.
Wow,
And
that's fast.
But stones are being hauled beyond the wall every day. Chelbrick has visited the fortification once.
Who visited?
Chelbrick.
Chelbrick, okay.
But they spoke only vaguely of his promise, and he replied that, he assures them that he will keep to it.
Keep to.
The outer wall is complete with crenellations, if you know that word.
The crenels and merlins.
Right. It certainly seems to be a defensive fortification, and but some of the Trinidas are not convinced that this will be the only one built. It seems too small to house the hosts of the Philistine.
I ask what they think their Chelbrick's promise to the Philistine might be. Clearly, they're doing this work for him, but what could he provide them?
They disagree with you. They think this fortification for the Philistine is for the Philistine. That Chelbrick may have put that enchantment on the outer wall in secret.
Right. Okay.
But in strengthening his allies, having a fort to the south of his tower gives them an outpost from which they can monitor traffic coming from Convergence. And the question is where the next one might be built if this one's too small to host, to house the complete host of the Philistine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe he seeks to put himself in the middle of 3 or 4 of these fortifications. The Philistine feel now more protected, emboldened, and he has sort of an inadvertent security force now surrounding his tower, um, stopping anything that might come to molest him and his plans. And perhaps they are building vaults inside this first fortification, and they're not complete yet, which is why they've not yet raided their ancient abodes for items of power and wealth and so on. But clearly, the Philistine are a growing threat with with even one fortification. Now it's possible too that they're going to mine the interior of the hillside they're building up against it. Maybe the interior of this fort will be much larger than the outside suggests.
Man, battling just some of the Philistine is already, they're already so powerful. Now they have like a fortification. It's like,
Right.
okay.
No sneaking up on them, you know. I'm going to assume that you're going to eat a meal while talking to them.
Yeah. A little bit of whey bread.
You are at 48 exhaustion.
All right. Okay. So when I'm ready to go, we'll teleport to the spot outside Miagral's keep.
They comment that you seem different. You seem ill at ease.
Do you like what I've done with my hair?
Exactly. It's blacker.
Noticing.
Also, it'll strangle children if they get too close.
Oh, man. Classic Japanese horror staple. Just hair coming alive, strangling people.
Exactly.
Great. Now I'm in a horror movie. Okay. I tell them that, yes, I've had a dark encounter, and I am attempting, well, I'm just trying to be conscious of my own, I don't know how to describe it exactly. I think I have a handle on it, but it'll take time to know for certain.
You seem quite unsettled. There's a tranquility that is gone from you. Rest here in the valley may be very good for you. Here among the influence of your friends. The nature of the Fae can do wonders for a beleaguered soul.
I tell them I need to be at the keep by tomorrow morning, but I can certainly rest. I would appreciate being able to rest here.
Later.
Yeah.
Do not tarry too long. There is little more important than nurturing the soul.
They do not tarry, this says, and they want me to go? Or
don't tarry too long in your return.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying that I could. Are they suggesting that I stay here for multiple days? I guess
It's hard to tell.
Right. I was saying that I could stay until tonight or tomorrow
Oh, I
morning.
see.
Right. I
Okay.
was like, I need to be back by tomorrow morning, but I would, be
You're
honored to.
more than welcome.
Okay.
It will do you good.
So I can, yeah, we'll just rest among the Trinidas in their valley. They're every time I talk to the Trinitas, they're very perceptive of like anytime I've had an encounter with undead or like a demonic force.
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of any sort of taint on you, they
Mm.
seem very sensitive to. I'm very sensitive to Quinn's taint.
I was going to say Aldrif's taint has been.
Right.
I've had a dark encounter. Sounds like the opening line from a letter to the Penthouse forums.
That's right. Well, let's leave you here.
Okay.
We'll call it. We'll still say it's early afternoon because you've just basically done some. I mean, you gathered stuff up and so on, but it's still within the realm of early afternoon. And your plan is to stay here, converse with them, and then carry on your journey to the keep.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, cool. Now I know I can teleport from Valabri to Pesidarius in 2 teleports.
right.
3 teleports.
It's reading Quinn. So yeah, well, cool. Well, gang, thanks for joining us for another episode.
Yeah.
We will be back next week, and we hope you join us then. If you think we're doing a good job, then do hop the donor box and send us a little love. If you want to hear more from Max, and you really should, then go find him on his YouTube channel where he discusses the role of music and original soundtracks in video games. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art for Brise that we use almost every session. If you want to see more from them, please go to artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a novel called A Shore Too Far that you can find on Amazon in ebook and print. Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoy that one. We'll see you all next week. Be safe and have a lovely evening.
Goodbye, guys.